I could listen to something and pretty much within a matter of moments, you figure out what would make this record sound amazing. I could have 500 knobs. I'll know that those 5 knobs that are perfect and to make a perfect sounding record. How you doing? I'm Howie Weinberg. I am here in my mastering studio here in Laurel Canyon. 5 records I've done that I love. I've done Nirvana, I've done all the Nevermind, I've done all the Metallica records. I did their whole catalog. I've done all the big hip-hop records from the 80s and 90s, Beastie Boys. I did all the Red Hot Chili Peppers, biggest records, the first 4 records. I've done Soundgarden, all the big Seattle bands, Deftones, The Killers, Def Leppard, Scorpions, Sheryl Crow's biggest record, Jeff Buckley, Stranger Things. I have over 19,000 credits, over 28 billion streams. I started doing this when I was a little kid. It was kind of interesting how I got into this whole business. I was the company's master disc in New York. The famous Bob Ludwig took me under his wing and he started letting me do sessions in his studio. I didn't have the skills of a musician. I had the skills of more of somebody who listened. I think it's almost at my advantage I'm not a musician. If you are a musician, in my book, you're a star, okay? Because I can't play music, but I know how to listen to it very well. I know how to make it sound well. We want this to sound like the artist or the producer envisioned from day one. A lot of the music today is more processed. It's very digital sounding. It's very, just processed pop music. The analog stuff has such a really rich, beautiful sound. When I do a project, I usually do one with a lot of digital processing and a lot of analog processing. And I do that for a number of reasons. There's a choice they can make. If they want old school with converters, clocks, analog EQs, analog compressors, or they want more digital type masters that are more close in sound to what they mixed. And a lot of times the digital stuff has a little better separation, and the vocals always sound a little bit nicer, whereas the analog stuff, the bass is a little tighter, it has a little bit more roundness to it. So what I try to do when I do a project, I do both ways. And that's why the SPL, especially this baby, the EQ here, it just has this most beautiful, rich analog sound. It has a lot to do with their power supplies. Even if you're just using a tiny bit, the unit has a certain sound to it. The iron compressor, that has a little more sound to it. When I do a master that's fully analog, this compressor and this EQ is usually in the chain. All it does is give everything a rich, beautiful sound. It has a big kind of body to it. I have the original mastering console. The reason I like it is I consider it like the Mercedes-Benz of audio. It's precise, it works well, and it always runs, and it always sounds great. You can really make something, that sounds small, quite large. This is really my main sound, and everything else, is a side chain of that. The DMC is really the glue that holds everything together. Everything goes in there and out of there. And it's funny, I also do have a lot of the SPL plugins, which I quite like. When I first started using the plugin, I went, wow, this plugin sounds good, but wow, I can't wait to hear the hardware. And then I got the hardware and it's like, whoa. I love the gear, especially with the power supplies, the 120 volt. They just have a big, creamy, beautiful sound. And it's a special sound. I remember when I first heard it, it was like, wow, this is analog the way I remember it.